Hello everyone, I'm CJ Werleman. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button below and please help keep our show going and growing by supporting my journalism at patreon.com/CJ Werleman. Now let's get into it. For the first time in Britain's history, a person of colour has climbed to the country's highest political office. This part we should celebrate, particularly because it's driving white British racists mad with hate.
There's a part of me that feels a little bad for England's racists. No, because remember, they voted for Brexit specifically to keep Britain white. And that vote started a 7-year chain of dominoes that has now led directly to an Indian Prime Minister.
But now for the bad news. Rishi Sunak is no friend to people of colour because he serves as a Trojan horse for the Hindu for Zionist Alliance, or what some call the Islamophobia Alliance, which brings together an array of pro-India and pro-Israel groups to pressure Western governments into adopting policies that hurt Palestine, Kashmir and Muslims. Broadly speaking, the Hindu for Zionist Alliance has several key objectives. To advance the political interests of Modi's BJP in India and the Likud Party in Israel, to sanction Pakistan, to criminalise BDS, and to provide diplomatic cover for Israeli war crimes in Palestine and India's human rights abuses in Kashmir. These pro-Israel and pro-India groups work in tandem to amplify and support each other's objectives. On the pro-India side, there's HSS, Hindu Council of Britain, Sewa International and others. While on the pro-Israel side, there's the Conservative Friends of Israel, Zionist Federation, Friends of Israel and others. Occasionally, the Hindu for Zionist Alliance even teams up with Armenian groups to pressure Western governments into sanctioning and punishing Turkey and Pakistan. A few years back, when former Labour Party leader Jeremy Corbyn expressed solidarity for Palestinians and Kashmiris, Hindu for organisations joined with Zionist groups to falsely accuse him of engaging in anti-Semitism and Hindu phobia. So now we have Rishi Sunak, who is the perfect vessel to carry the water for the Hindu for Zionist Alliance, given he's a devout Hindu with family ties to the Modi regime and has shown a particular fondness for Israel. But what really stands out here is his billionaire father-in-law, who owns the tech giant Infosys, because not only is he an avid supporter of Modi's hateful politics, but also has significant investments in Israel. Marrying into this family has made Rishi Sunak inextricably tied to his wife's family business, making him richer than the King of England, and he's proud of it.
There is commentary about my wife's family's wealth. And so let me just address that head on, because I think it's worth doing, because I'm actually incredibly proud of what my parents-in-law built.
It's no surprise then that given his family's investments in Israel, Sunak has promised to criminalise BDS, praise Israel as a beacon of hope, and express his potential support for an Israeli war crime.
Jerusalem is Israel's capital.
Yes, look, I mean, to me, it's undisputed to be the historic capital. It's clearly there's a very strong case for it to be recognised. And the point I was making then, as I would make now, is I'm very open to looking at that.
Sunak has also been quickly embraced by Hindu nationalists, including India's ruling party, who believes his selection advances the Hindufa project in India, a project that aims to eradicate and annihilate 250 million Muslims, Sikhs and Christians. But for Muslims in Britain, Sunak moves into number 10 Downing Street at the same time Hindu extremists are committing a wave of violence against Muslims in Leicester.
Chants of Jai Shri Ram by some Hindus in Leicester, which translates from Hindi as "Glory to God Ram," is a popular slogan that has become synonymous with anti-Muslim violence in India. While there may be cause for calm in Leicester now, there are concerns that the unrest may spread nationwide and beyond.
Now ask yourself this question: what will Sunak do to arrest Hindu extremist violence in Britain, given his family's close ties to the Hindu extremist regime in India and the influence the Hindufa lobby has over the Conservative Party? The obvious answer is nothing. In fact, there's every reason to believe he will embolden Hindu extremists to incite more communal violence against Muslims in the United Kingdom. But even more worrying still is Sunak has telegraphed his intention to crack down on Muslim communities by granting the police greater powers to stop and search suspects, despite it being deemed a flawed policy that disproportionately targets Asian and African migrants. And if that isn't bad enough, he also parrots far-right white nationalist talking points about so-called Muslim grooming gangs.
And all I'll say to you, whether it comes to another thing that we don't tackle, which affects young girls, that's the issue of grooming gangs, which I've been very clear that we must tackle. And we all know why we don't talk about it. It's not right. And I've got a plan to get to grips with it. But what I'll tell everyone here is that I will never let political correctness stand in the way of keeping you and your families safe. That's the type of Prime Minister I'll be.
I mean, where do you even start? This Muslim grooming gang nonsense has been widely debunked as Islamophobic rubbish too many times to count, including by the country's leading criminologists and the Crown Prosecution Service's lead on child sex crimes. But Sunak continues to parrot a lie that's meant only to target Muslim communities with more police surveillance and harassment, resulting in the detention and arrest of more innocent Muslims. On top of all this, Sunak wants to double down on the failing prevent strategy by ignoring far-right extremism and refocusing on Muslim communities and those who vilify the country, a move that could see Palestinian activists arrested for expressing opposition to the UK government's support for Israel. In deliberately turning a blind eye to far-right extremism and Hindu supremacism while giving police greater powers to target Muslim communities, Sunak has become the ideal Trojan horse for the Hindufa Zionist alliance. This not only spells terrible news for Muslims in the UK and India, but also those in Kashmir, Palestine and Pakistan, which is why we must work hard to see that he's defeated in the coming general election. Anyway, that's my time for today. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and we kindly ask you please support this endeavour by becoming a member of this show at patreon.com/CJWellerman. We can't produce, sustain and grow this show without your help, and we offer exclusive benefits to those who do. But for now, good night, good morning, wherever you are, and stay blessed.